Hey, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. My name is Crafty, and in this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 things that musicians tend to overlook.
That's 5.
Now, these top 5 things, they're actually 5 main areas of which that musicians can be overlooking things. And look, it could be anywhere, if you're beginner to pro, anybody's susceptible to overlook these things. Now, just before getting into this list, I'll just mention that the sponsor for this video has been overlooked. That's a bad joke. Surely they won't arrest me for that. Surely.
And they thought I stunk.
Okay, all right, here we go. So the number one area of which that a musician will overlook is in the execution. So that could be a number of things. For instance, it could be the tuning of an instrument. Now, I mentioned this first because it's the easiest thing to overlook.
We're here in the studio with Crafty Music Tips, just talking about, just making sure that your instruments are in tune before you shoot your promo video for your duo. This is how you do it.
Preferably before you start recording.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Darren, you of all people who own a studio know that there's nothing to joke about.
No,
how many
that's
times
right.
have you had it where you've just gone, no?
No, that was a great line, played out of tune.
So please make sure that you regularly check your tuning. And if you just have one of those instruments, especially like a guitar or a bass type of instrument where they just go out of tune pretty regularly, it might be the way that you're tuning. I'll leave a link below to a helpful tuning tip that might be able to help keep your instrument in tune. Another overlooked execution element could be your tone. Now, no matter what instrument it is or your voice, if you're not playing or singing with the right tone, well, then it's just not gonna have the right vibe. Now, if you're not too sure what tone is, basically it's just the sound characteristic. So for instance, if it's an electric song and you're playing on an acoustic or vice versa, or if you're singing with a really growly tone as opposed to a nice clear tone, you just gotta give the right tone for the song. And perhaps you're overlooking dynamics. What is dynamics? Dynamics is how loud noises or soft
It's oh so quiet. Shh.
that you're playing. If you're always playing a little bit too soft, or if you're always playing too loud, then you got to change it up a bit. Perhaps you're overlooking the articulation of a song. What's the articulation? Well, the easiest way I can describe it is sort of the difference between sharper or smoother executed notes. Allow me to demonstrate. Or just a few different ways in the second example that I played there, which is the song Am I Ever Gonna See Your Face Again? It's not supposed to be like that, really played sharply. It's supposed to sound a bit smoother, and I even chucked in a slide there. And that goes for a number of instruments as well as singing. Pay attention to articulation.
Articulate.
Perhaps you're overlooking what the actual chords are supposed to be in a song.
E flat, Salieri, E flat.
Now, something else you might be overlooking is the correct melody. This is probably more geared towards singing. So, for instance, I just remember when I was learning the song Autumn Leaves years ago. It's the jazz classic. Now, when I was learning how to sing it, I didn't actually get all of those notes correct. I kind of sang something like it. The falling leaves drift by my window. You notice that I didn't get those jumps of the falling leaves Drift by my window. And so I had to practice it slowly and make sure that I got the correct melody notes. Now, while on the subject of singing, let's put this guitar down. Correct lyrics. Don't overlook the lyrics. Make sure you know exactly what the words are. Or if you want to change them around, just know exactly what it is that you're changing up. The average punter is going to connect with the lyrical content of a song. And if you're getting the lyrics wrong, it really spoils it for them. So learn the lyrics.
I was still working on memorizing all the words. My back is hurting from the chair I'm sitting on. Where's the Tylenol?
So how do I suggest learning lyrics, you ask? Well, just listening to the song and actually writing down what you think the lyrics are, then double checking with, say, internet lyrics, or just asking people, hey, did I get these lyrics right? Writing them down, it really is a very strong way of learning it and getting it to enter into your brain so that you can then recall them and not have one of those horrible forgetting lyrics on stage moments.
Go ahead and sell me out and only your sheep. Oh shit, stop. I'm thinking wrong words.
I don't know what it is, but the scientists have done studies where they've been able to, with testing, realize that the brain can remember it better if you've actually physically written it down. I don't know why, but it's just true. So do that.
Do it. Do it.
So our second area is the performance area. Now, depending on where you're at as a performer, the easiest way that any musician could potentially overlook something to do with their performance is by not really putting in an effort with their appearance. They might be up there on stage and just kind of looking pretty cash, which can be a decent look, but also, it's just nice to just see an effort put in. Or you've just got a number of members on stage that are just standing there and they're not really looking like they belong together. They've got nothing tying them together in an image kind of way. So, it doesn't take a lot to just have a quick discussion beforehand to figure out what's a way that we can kind of look the part together.
Is that what you're wearing?
Now, another performance attribute that usually gets overlooked a lot is the amount of onstage energy you should be giving to the performance.
Gratuitous amounts of energy.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that every single one of you needs to be jumping up and down, going crazy, especially if the music doesn't call for it. But, standing really still, looking very disinterested is not very engaging to an audience.
I'm having a good time.
So give some energy, whatever it is, even just a little bit. Now, speaking of onstage energy, that also goes hand in hand with onstage signals.
Cause it's signals, Jerry, it's signals.
If you're just too busy in your own little zone, not really giving any energy to any of the people that you're performing with, well, then they're going to potentially miss a signal of like, oh, was that the end, was it? Now, sadly, I'm guilty every so often. If I've got a fill-in musician playing with me, I just sort of get lost in the zone of the song. Then I get to the end and then I think, oh no, I didn't do a little signal to just be like, now the song's ended to the other person. So make sure as best as you can, just interact visually with the other people that you're performing with. Our next song is Shine On You Crazy Diamond. All right, yes, a lot of musicians overlook this. It's speaking in between songs. It can be a very confronting, intimidating thing to have to do. But look, think about what would you like as an audience member watching a performance? Would you like to be ignored? Or do you like it when people that are on stage are engaging with you? So yeah, maybe not in between every song, but just say something in between a song here and there. And if you're really unsure of how to do it, well, then check out what is it that your favorite musicians do in between songs. Just YouTube your favorite artist live performances to see what they do. Or better yet, buy a ticket, go see them live and see what they do.
I'm pretty sure concert goers will be very pleased.
Now, on the subject of speaking in between songs, the length of time that it takes you to play the next song after the last song has ended shouldn't be very long. And then it would mean that you wouldn't need to speak very much in between songs or as often. So look, it's just a good general rule of thumb to just, as soon as the song has finished, before, as fast as you can, get into the next one.
Next.
Now, if I ever fall into the trap of taking too long in between songs, it's because I don't know what the next song is. So have a set list. But if having a set list isn't the best idea, just having a list of your songs so that you can pick them, rather than just like me, just going, wait, what's some songs that I know? And then just taking forever to decide. Okay, so the third area that musicians have a tendency to overlook is in the personal traits of the musicians themselves. So that might be bad punctuality. It might be that, like great player, but not really a good hang. Maybe in a creative environment that the person is not very giving, meaning that it has to always be their idea. Maybe just in general, the person's selfish, so won't lend any of their gear out, won't be okay if they're sick or they can't do a gig that somebody else can fill in for them. You just never know what good deed that you'll do for somebody else may be able to come back and reward you. So just be nice.
So don't be a dick. Let them show your true colors.
Okay, so we're getting through this list. Number 4 is overlooking arrangement. That could be, not the correct instruments are being used in a song arrangement, or too many instruments, or not the right sounds. I did mention tone earlier, not the right tones. Now, here's something that happens quite a lot. Perhaps the right key isn't chosen for the singer's vocal range. Let's just use Axl Rose as an example, shall we? She's got a smile and it seems to me. This is in standard tuning, and Guns N' Roses tuned down to E flat because they knew that, just going down, she's got a smile and it seems to me, that it's just more manageable as a singer. If every note that you're singing is a semitone lower over a whole concert, over a whole night, that's got to be easy. And it might mean that you can just hit the higher notes just that bit stronger. Or maybe it's around the other way. Maybe as a female vocalist, if you're a soprano, you're singing something that's more suited to an alto. Just making really sure that your voice is what's dictating what key that you're singing in, not what the original key of a song is in. Why, you ask? Well, you've got a vocal range. Whatever the lowest note is to the highest note, yes, you can train your voice, or you can have good days and bad days where you can go slightly higher or slightly lower. But really, your vocal cords are a certain size and they can produce a certain amount of notes. And if a song that you want to sing is a little bit either side of what you can actually reach, well then, you're not doing anything wrong. You have to be able to find what is the best key. So, if a song is up here and you think, oh, no, if I just practice, I'll be able to get those high notes. Look, you might be able to, but also, where does this song best sit for me? And also something in arranging that I see that gets overlooked a lot is the really clever song structure element. It might be a really cool ending. Or maybe it's like a half bar or a half section cool thing that just gets evened out to be normal. And can't stand that because, if you've got something that's really clever, you should do it. Don't overlook it. So, for instance, the song Cry in Shame by Johnny Diesel. There's a bridge section in the middle that goes, cry, 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 cry in shame. And then it only half repeats, cry, cry, into the into a sax solo, which works perfectly because it goes into the verse chord progression. Whereas I've seen people, they're not aware of this, Or they just, maybe they are, but they think that it's just, look, it's just easier. Let's just do it twice. Cry, 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 cry in shame. Cry, 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 cry in shame. And then go to the solo. Nah.
None of that.
So yeah, there's heaps of examples. Yeah, crowded house songs always have those cool little weird bits in the arrangement that I just love. They're like my favorite bits. And if somebody's performing a crowded house song and they just simplify or they just get it wrong because they've overlooked it, well, it's just, it's those little pieces that you just miss as a crowded house fan.
Oh, how I've missed you, Holmes.
Okay, so last on our list of 5 things that musicians overlook, it's probably, in my opinion, the most important. It's communication. You know, so many problems that arise with musicians or just within the music industry, just in life, can be avoided with a little bit of effort in communicating.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Sometimes it takes more effort, but the more effort you put in, the more prevention you have from problems occurring. So for instance, if you're not communicating with band members, if you're not communicating with a venue, if you're not communicating with your fans, if you're not communicating with a sound tech, look, I mentioned the onstage signals that get overlooked in a performance. If you're not communicating with whoever it is that needs the communication, problems are going to happen.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Nobody's a mind reader. So just make sure, communicate. And one quick bonus tip that I feel is so overlooked by people in the music industry and many people in life is just saying thank you. And so with that in mind, in the spirit of that, thank you for watching this video. If you're still watching at this point, please let me know in the comments below. Give me a thank you by letting me know, well, what was the most helpful for you? And also, what is it that you need to be working on? What is some elements that you've taken from this and gone, yeah, actually, you know, maybe I do need to work on my onstage energy or whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below. Now, obviously, with the name Crafty Music Tips, this YouTube channel has a bunch of other helpful music tips videos for you to go and check out. But if that's still not enough because you've still got a bunch of questions about this thing and you feel like that you don't really have anybody in your life to be able to answer the questions that you have, well, I'll tell you about the Crafty Guitar Club. Basically, it's an opportunity to hang out with me and a bunch of other like-minded guitarists, and we get together regularly and I answer a bunch of questions and I also give a bunch of masterclasses, and there's an online membership where you get your own special login to be able to access a bunch of any of the past content as well as be able to interact with the others from the community. So if that sounds like something that'd help you out, well then go check out the Crafty Guitar Club. I'll leave a link below. It really is a really cool place to hang out, and I get all the warm fuzzies every time I get to hang out with a bunch of other people, basically just like you and me. So hopefully I'll see you there. So until the next time I'm looking at you, I'll sign off. My name is Crafty. Wherever you are in your life and whatever musical decision that you have to make the healthy one.